wholly unjustified and brutal invasion of Iraq. Of Ukraine.
Wars have been fought over oil. In a short matter of time, they will be fought over war.
We're back. Episode 2 of the second season of ManCon.
ManCon.
Yeah. Undaunted by the current environment, we're pledging to continue to be here,
Yeah, and, there's a lot of shows out there, that just, even in season 2, they lose the juice, but
we're still
I think
juicy.
for ManCon, we it's going to be juicy.
Yeah.
Every time. It may be too much juice.
Super
Some
juicy.
could say. But
Who's to
we're
say?
here.
Who's to say,
We're still here.
I feel so liberated, Marcus. Wait, first let's start with introductions, then we talk about our liberation together. What your favorite part of liberation is, what my favorite part is. I am Lucid Fox on all the places, anywhere you could find me, Instagram, Blue Sky, all sorts of stuff, honestly.
And this Marcus from Struggle 4 on Twitch.tv and the YouTubes, Instagrams, newly liberated. And you could find me on, probably some dinghy boat here in a few months, just trying to get some crab to eat.
Oh, man.
My favorite part of Liberation Day is all the new skills that I'm going to have to develop just to survive. I'm very excited for that.
Marcus of Struggle 4, newly minted Vietnamese fisherman.
Yes. Yep.
Exciting stuff, and a very fine job, honestly. Nothing wrong with that.
Oh yeah, honest day's work.
Yeah, I'd jump in a heartbeat, honestly. God, man.
Yeah.
So liberated,
so very liberated. So yeah, Trump had Liberation Day. He announced tariffs.
Yeah.
Reciprocal tariffs, but it was just this, cockamamie Gronk AI formula.
Mm-hmm.
The quote from the CNBC guy won't ever leave me, right? Because he said, this is worse than the worst case scenario.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
And when you're,
yes.
the thought experiment that is the worst case scenario, you're supposed to go as bad as you can conceive of, and he's admitting we
past that.
Never thought it was gonna.
We didn't think it was gonna get that bad. Types,
Yeah,
we knew because at the end of the day, I guess if you're big capital, or somebody within the levers of journalism, you think to yourself oh well, everybody's still gonna play by the rules, right? Everybody's gonna at least hang out and be cool about things. They can't get that crazy about everything.
Yeah, but it turns out nothing the rules say is a dog can't play basketball. Okay.
Oh man. So yeah, exactly. Nothing in the rules says a dog can't play basketball, and boy, howdy, man, has it ever played for the past couple days?
Yeah. So, and that's the thing is, this is all vibes money. Yeah. This is stock market stuff. So this is just, the potential future for all of us.
Correct. Nothing crazy.
Or people's current retirement funds.
Yeah. Nothing crazy.
Nothing too important. But, they're talking about $6 trillion.
Yeah.
Worth of loss over a week and a half or something like that.
Just for the U.S.
Yeah. This is our stock market. You know what I'm saying? We own this,
let's not forget, there's been trillions of dollars of losses outside the market as well. It's crazy.
Yeah. And and it's just getting worse. So, I mean, even so today, stonks were going up, and up.
Ooh, so it looks so nice for a couple hours. Woo, boy.
Yeah. And then somewhere around 3:15.
Yeah.
Down again.
Oopsies.
So
down,
and you can see,
in a burning ring of fire.
I mean, since it is like so much vibes just off of it, and then because there's just sharks in the water that are just willing to buy any type of dip, hey, they got the money, they'll keep kind of buoying this thing. But a lot of there's just so much confusion as to actually what is happening and why. And that's never had any clear answer from the Canada and Mexico. It's fentanyl, or it's immigration, or it's a trade deficit, whatever. For every other country that they just, had the reciprocal tariffs, right? It's just something that they made up. It's not actually responding to the tariffs that those countries may or may not have.
Vibes,
And no one knows what the hell is going on. Why did you put tariffs on an island inhabited by penguins? Nobody knows.
They said that listen, okay? They said that was calculated because what could have happened was somebody might have tried to cheat the system, okay? The loophole. That was to stop exploitation of loopholes, is what they said. In the
why
press
don't
conference.
they buy any U.S. mackerel? The mackerel markets we're getting screwed. We need to be able to sell to those penguins.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those protective tariffs that
We have so many tilapia farms, and these penguins are eating none of it.
It's bullshit. But no, it's all absurd. And in some countries, I mean Israel, Vietnam, call and say, oh, hey, we'll take off the tariffs. In the case of Vietnam, people are like, oh, are they folding or whatever? And it's just, there is no market for U.S. goods there's no major market for U.S. goods in Vietnam. Harley Davidson's never going to be hot in Vietnam. Just, it's not going to be a thing. And so there's just a limited loss on the part of Vietnam and a very great gain to get all of their exports, like probably every thread of clothing that both of us are wearing and everyone that's listening to this, you too, right? It comes through some of these things where
a good amount of our electronics, that are passed through as a corollary,
If they can find some way to just get past, hey, you're good. But that's the thing is they're dealing with a complete psychopath that is Trump. And there is no rhyme or reason to any of it to begin with. So trying to reason your way out of it is going to be, a tricky time.
He's an insane person.
Yeah. he doesn't know what he's doing.
There's that as well. Yeah.
Then so there's we just don't know. And then the stock market is continuing to go down, and we'll see what happens for the rest of the week, I get, but this thing is completely destroying a lot of people's 401k and hopes that they'll be able to retire.
Retirement.
I know, right? Imagine.
Could you even? Yeah. I mean, that's exactly it. A lot of older folks. This is what I was saying. Realistically, this has the biggest immediate implications for people 50s onwards. You know what I mean? These are people that would like to figure out some semblance of retiring in the next 10 to 20 years. Or sooner, people in their 60s. And it's well, that's going to go out the window, mon frere, unless any of this switches up real quick, unless people get real cool real quick. And even then, there's still knock-on implications of what's happened here, how many people are going to ready themselves to go back to trusting the American market, Well,
and that's where some of this stuff is just going to be gone forever.
Yeah. It's just...
there's because whatever countries can do some quick type of jockeying, you know, okay, say, hey, both of us are getting tariffed, both of us are getting screwed, you know, so you know, there's some like third option type of stuff where like you know, they're just going to be going around the United States. And why wouldn't you? You know what I'm saying? This is what, you know what I'm saying? It's
make those trade deals. Japan, Korea, China, you know, just one example. Like, make those fucking deals outside the United States. Fuck, I would.
I mean, and that's like, you know, it's like 3 months in.
Yeah.
You know? And so
yeah, like none of this like really, you know, I think it's setting anybody at ease. It's like, oh, this is the beginning of everything. Like, we're not even, you know. Who knows what could come down the line here soon? Like, this is just the start.
This is just the beginning, yeah. And so yeah, it seems impossible that, you know, a lot of countries would just sit and wait, or, you know, just keep crawling back on their knees, because, you know, and I think they actually go into effect tomorrow. You know, so any type of, you know, at least like, yeah, what the ones on China, you know, expanded
the
ones
104% are 104% tariffs on China.
Yeah,
it's the dumbest fucking place imaginable, man.
I can only assume that tomorrow, you know, because like China announced the response with like 34%, and then Trump said, well, we're going to do 50% on top of what we already did, which equals to 104%. So that starts tomorrow. I can only assume that China's going to have another response.
Yeah.
You know, and where does this thing actually stop? It's the Thunderdome. It stops at the Thunderdome, where we're fighting for food.
Yes.
Oh, but no, yeah. I mean, like, just like, where does this go? Who knows? All we can say is that it's bad now, and Trump, Peter Navarro, Howard Lutnick, there's nothing that they will ever be able to say to garner trust.
No,
any type of, like, you know,
absolutely not. Like, this is, you know, like I said, if I was working in a foreign market, I would never like sit down. Like, I would be actively sitting down and saying, okay, all right, what do we need to do to divest of like dollars? You know, what do we need to do to start like working outside of like the American system? Because we can't, like, you can't continue to have market fluctuation like that, man. Like, that's insane.
And like, even like, you know, countries that have kind of like waffled on like Belt and Road Initiative.
Yeah.
You know, like there's just gonna be, you know, like you're like, you know, the like a collaboration like BRICS, you know, for any countries that were kind of like, you know what I'm saying, like all of these things now are infinitely, you know, more beneficial looking than it was a month ago.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's the toothpaste is not going back into the tube, you know, and that's just it.
I think part of it is like, for so long, you know, like not so long in the span of like the past century. Once the United States became a trade powerhouse, you know, became a manufacturing powerhouse, even before we like externalized that, like, you know, with the advent of neoliberalism, like these things started to set in motion, like what would eventually like place us as the hegemon supplanting like the British Empire, right? But like one of the reasons that happened is because we were a pretty reliable like trade partner, right? Like we'd sat down, we had some, you know, discussions, we formed some, you know, we continued to form like trade agreements and everything. And very rarely would we, you know, Reagan, very rarely would we fuck with people as far as trade is concerned, you know, like, and if we did, we backed off pretty fucking quickly, you know.
And and the thing is, like, the fucking with people was because of trade. Like
Yes,
we need to
correct.
keep this country, only giving us these raw resources and never allowed to develop their economy.
Yes, correct.
So like even in their destabilization effort on a state level, it was totally geared towards solidifying the U.S. market.
Yes, exactly. And like I said, now that convention is just out the window. Now it's whatever the Mad King desires, is at the forefront of the imagination. And if you don't counter that, well, hey, listen, sorry, you get 1,000% tariffs, maybe 2,000, who knows?
10,000% tariff.
Like,
It's the most big, beautiful tariff.
Like, it's just like, I'm sorry, that's insane person shit. 104% tariffs. What are you talking about? You're a child. How old are you? What do you mean? You're one of our largest trade partners. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
You fool. Like, I know how to solve the $1 trillion trade deficit by losing $6 trillion. It's perfect.
Fantastic.
That's the art of the deal.
Art of the deal, baby.
Like,
yes.
yeah, like, I don't want to get like too far into the weeds on like how that deficit works, but like that deficit quite literally is then bought back by like bonds, and like we have like there's reasons why that deficit exists. It's not just like empty money, much like the regular like U.S. deficit. Like there are reasons why like trade deficits are, and we still make money off of that too. This guy is just a fool.
Yeah. Yes, I've got a trade deficit with the my cell phone plan carrier.
Yeah.
Like I've got a pretty big trade deficit with my grocery store.
And
like there's a reason, for this, so that I can use these things to live my life. And that's where this idea of just going off of the trade deficit is one of the most insane things. Yeah. Because like Morocco is not some powerhouse that's screwing us over economically.
Hand over fist. Their enrichment is off the backs of American ingenuity.
Haven't we done enough to Cambodia? Have we not done enough? And it's just like what is going on?
Yeah. It's crazy.
Oh
man.
My God. And complaining that Japan won't take our rice.
Yeah.
It's like, dog, they got that. You know what I'm saying? Like they're like, you're really beefing over rice in Japan. You know? Come on.
I respect their rice very much. I was just there. It's delicious rice, They don't want ours. Ours is much worse. Nothing against Uncle Ben. I find him to be a delightful young man, but
the steam bags are good in a pinch. However, you're right.
Like they figured it out over there, okay? Like it is pretty sick, honestly.
Like 1,000 years ago, they figured it out.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Incredible.
Here we are, and I mean that's the thing. This is the story that's going to keep going along because. We really don't know, where this will end up. Like Japan, China, and the Republic of Korea, just coming to any type of agreement is like insane to begin with. Them coming together over these trade agreements, you can only assume that is going to continue and that, the global economic order is just going to keep shifting away from the United States.
Yeah.
And, and then like what happens after that is, very concerning because I'm not sure if you know much about human history.
I've heard of it.
Some of these major shifts, they just, then it goes into worse things. And I don't, that's why, like, I don't want to be like, oh my God, hair on fire shit.
Yeah.
But it just these things can tumble out of control and end up being like generating more conflict across the world. At the very least, just overturning a lot of people's lives and causing just causing poverty unnecessarily.
Yeah. Making
because
things
one of the
abjectly worse for others.
Yeah. And you think of something like COVID, where there is a real virus that does not allow people to work. It doesn't allow, the goods to go from here to there as easy as, before. And then you can see, oh, hey, the projection for the future that, as it represented the stock market goes down. That makes sense. That's the only thing that makes sense in the stock market to me. But with this, Trump just said words.
Yes.
He just came up with this thing,
and that's it, baby.
And here we go.
Came to him in a dream,
Yeah, and here we are. And so where does this end? Who knows? How bad does it get? Who knows? Because a lot of this thing is just at the whim of an insane person.
Yeah. Yeah, true. Like, this is just like, again, like I said, fucking, hate to touch on like popular media as a definer, but this is at the whim of a fucking like mad king, man.
Yeah. This
guy just deciding, yeah, like, and again, like, God bless Chuck Schumer. Thank you very much, for foregoing the cloture vote, so that we can make this guy can make his mistakes and people can sit down and see in a couple of years how bad he did. Thank you, Chuck Schumer. Very fucking brave, man. Very good shit,
Yeah. One of my best friends growing up was always the person standing by while I got my ass kicked. I love that person. They're great.
The determination of the Democratic Party to just like literally sit by and do absolutely fucking nothing in a crisis, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're just like screaming next to like someone punching in your face. You're like, you don't like that, do you?
It's like, crazy. Yo, I bet he's in real pain right now. They sit there and say as they watch these things occur.
Yeah, doing nothing at all.
Like they're not part of the game. They are John Madden, like a shitty John Madden, just sitting on the sidelines. Like, ooh, that's gonna cost him. And it's like, no, you're supposed to be part of this, man.
Yeah,
what do you mean?
Except it's like John Madden, you're still a coach. You're not just a commentator, right? You've got power in this thing, but
you're supposed to be on the other side of the fucking sidelines, man.
Yeah. They're telling them, we're going to run this play next. So you want to set your defense up this way.
Oh, it's crazy. At least Cory Booker 2028, you know what I mean?
Let's go.
It's a real it's good trouble, It's a real
Yeah, I'll vote for him if on every campaign stop he does the 25-hour speech.
Yes,
okay?
Absolutely. I would love nothing more, Shows up the debates, just starts fucking speeching,
Yes. I want to be able to bring fresh fruit and then have it rot while he's still giving the speech, and then throw it at him.
So cool.
And that's going to be great.
Yeah. My favorite part of that speech was like the day after he fucking voted for, more money to go to Israel.
Oh yeah. This is a moral issue of our time.
Yeah,
okay?
Yeah. It's so cool, man.
That's why we gotta give bombs to
you gotta be able to walk
freaks.
and chew gum, guys. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Wait, and that's like we're not gonna get into like the specific war crime, but the whole ambulance thing.
Yeah.
They like kill these aid workers, bury the actual ambulances in the mass grave, and they were just like, well, the ambulances were gonna rust. Yeah. And so we had to bury those too.
Amazing. And that's it. That's enough for most people in power. That's enough for Ted Lieu. He's like, well, You convinced
Good
me.
enough for
Thank
me.
you.
Yeah, Cory Booker. Hey, no, man, that makes sense.
Thank you. Yeah,
I
that's
gotta
what I do.
go back to doing speech.
I guess I'd never had to bury an ambulance before. I didn't know, but yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, checks out. That checks out. Lights the Geneva Convention on fire again. Like goddamn. But no, this is it's all bad and it's gonna get worse. I sincerely hope no one listening to this is actually invested in any manner into the stock market, like outside of a retirement fund that you have with your job. But I mean, like a 401k, that's like something like a lot of workers you're just forced into now. Pensions had to go away because they supported the working class too much. But yeah, like this idea of, if the stonks, yeah, it's bad, and it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be worse, and yeah, they're talking about doing country deals like individually now, all over again, and
amazing.
It's like, how did Brexit work out for the UK?
Yeah,
I wonder.
Yeah,
was it good?
Yeah, I seem to remember them having a really good time of it. Yeah.
They've got freedom now, so it was good, sure. But no, it's all going to be bad. And dear other foreign countries, you're an idiot if you haven't been figuring out alternative trade. Yeah. And if you're not doing it now, it's like, because this place is cooked, man. Like there's not even a dim bulb in that White House that'll actually be able to like navigate this thing into something that even makes sense. So yeah, I mean, it's just gonna be worse. You see the retaliatory tariffs probably coming, new ones from China and whatever country that really wants to get buck after that. We'll see. But China's really the only ones that I think can easily tell the United States to get fucked. And the other countries are kind of just like, oh, we'll see, but no, it Belt and Road Initiative. Type that into Google. Foreign leaders that are definitely listening to this, and just check that out, okay? Because
gonna be important to watch in the future.
Yep.
You've been in the U.S. doing things with your family and everything. You really missed out. Will Stansel's been on a real bender the past week.
Oh no,
he's been very anti-China, but like losing his mind about China. Posting, it's so cool.
Oh wow, that poor guy. The vibe. You don't understand. Is the vibe session? Is that?
Yeah,
is it still going or no?
Like I'm not sure.
Where's Will Stancil at on this vibe session?
To him, and he just does not know what to do any longer.
Maybe he should have voted.
He should have. Well, maybe he should have voted in the People's Republic of China. Yeah,
where your vote matters.
Think about that. She is a dictator. It's incredible, man. I can't believe it.
It's like I show speeds over there, like dancing with like Chinese Ferraris.
Yeah,
like,
this guy is on a One Piece ass fucking adventure over there, and Will Stansel's like, you don't understand. The millennials there are barely getting by. They only have real estate to invest in. They only have homes. They can't even become billionaires. Damn, that's crazy, man.
Wild. I hate that for them.
Yeah,
that's so terrible.
I hate that they have homes as soon as they turn 18.
I mean,
that's great.
Like, could you imagine being a millennial and not just having multiple market crashes that just completely dissuade you from wanting to live? Yeah. Could you imagine?
Yeah, it's cool. It's pretty cool. I like it.
Here we are.
At least we don't have a
Well, you know
Supreme
what?
Court that's trying to fucking allow black bagging of individuals. That's another thing that I was told really sets the U.S. apart is the freedom
Wait.
here and the fact that we can't black bag literal U.S. citizens and send them to fucking detention camps overseas. So
What? I thought we were fighting in the courts. I thought the courts were going to rein him in.
yeah.
Is that not happening?
Yeah. Well, the thing about that is, turns out, the Supreme Court is just the Supreme Court is an irrelevant fucking like entity. Actually, like it is an aberration. It should be destroyed. Honestly, like realistically, it as not the people in the inception of the Supreme Court, the entity should not exist.
Well, you know what I'm saying? This is a wild take. Marbury versus Madison, judicial review, unconstitutional.
Yeah.
So,
No.
you know, what's really the point anyway? But no, that's like, so the Supreme Court sided with Trump, or basically the judge that said, hey, the person you black bagged and sent to a torture prison that the Trump administration admitted it was a mistake. You know, there's a judge say you need to get him back immediately.
Yes.
Like the same person that they sent Kristi Noem to do a commercial.
Yes.
Like he's there. You need to go send somebody else, or maybe have Kristi get him. Don't let
What's she up to?
Don't
Oh
don't
God, where's
let her,
my dog?
Yeah, make sure that she treats him better than her own dog.
Yeah.
But no, the Supreme Court comes over and says you don't have to do that.
Yeah, you're cool.
You leave him in the torture prison. About I don't know, it was a few minutes before we started recording. There was another decision by the Supreme Court that all of the federal workers, you know, there was a judge that said, hey, they have to hire them all back.
Yes.
They have to reinstate those workers. Supreme Court today says, nah, you don't. And
Don't worry about it.
you know, I think there's like two ways to think of it. Where one, you know, this is the Federal Society doing all the, you know, doing like really sealing on the work of the past like 40 years at least, right?
And
But also there is like, I mean, like this where it's like Supreme Court justices, if they're aware of history, are well aware how worthless they are.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to any beef with the executive branch.
yes.
You know, the Supreme Court needs the executive branch to enforce all the court system, right? You need the executive branch to actually enforce those decisions, right? No, like, I don't even know if the Supreme Court has bailiffs, right? But there's not enough bailiffs to make sure all the laws are, you know, going along. And so if there's an issue, well, the Supreme Court could, you know, do what is just obvious under the law. But if you know that you have a president that's going to tell you to kick rocks, you've got a decision to make. Whether, you know, do you immediately make yourself irrelevant because you can't do anything, or do you just agree
Yeah.
to what you already know that they want? And you know, I think it's a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B. You know, where, you know, some of this shit is just absolutely outrageous, and I could envision like a Justice Roberts like internally being like, "Oh, this is kind of fucked." But if I say no, and then they just act in the manner that they've been acting with all of the other courts, what's the point of the Supreme Court after that?
Yeah, sure. The relevance of it all, yeah.
And so for two reasons, you know, it's like you got ghouls being ghouls, but then also, even if they did think, hey, this might be a little bit too far, they would decide themselves into irrelevancy. And that's like, for me, I think it's very obvious, obviously, like the government structure, you know, especially it pertains to like, hey, Congress appropriates funds, you know, and they have to do these things. That was busted already.
Yes.
And the Supreme Court was basically like, we'll keep this illusion of some type of governmental structure. But no, we are,
we fucking sent it. You know what I mean? It's
toast. It's gone, and like you said, it's just a mad king, saying words and making decisions, and a lot of people going along with it because we, as like really don't know what else to do. Yeah,
it's like I said, I was thinking in my brain, and I've said it before, like this idea that liberals have that like this is going to get changed in an election cycle. It's like the Republicans have been putting together this project. You said the Federal Society for fucking half a century, man. Like, I don't know what to tell you that you think you're going to overturn with one, fine. If Josh Shapiro gets in 2028 or Gavin Newsom, they're finally going to turn this ship around. I don't know what to fucking tell you, man. It was less than 3 months. This motherfucker just said, I'm going to start destroying our trade and no one will stop me. I'm going to start fucking blackbagging citizens and sending them wherever the fuck I want. And nobody's going to stop me. Like, do you really think the Democrats are going to get back in and put some real restraint in the system? They're not doing anything now, by the way. They do still exist. Do you really think that their imperative when they return is to, because again, if that was true, I'm sorry, but if that was true, then the day after January 6th, they would have nailed him to the fucking wall. Okay? If Democrats actually had the fucking like stones for any of this, if they actually had the fervor to do something. But no, they are a bourgeois fucking like capitalist institution. That
hold on.
Yes.
Hold on.
Yeah.
What are you just gonna ignore Merrick Garland?
That's true. Yeah. And the parliamentarian, there were so many things stopping everyone,
Listen, Merrick Garland, he was really going after him, okay?
Almost had him.
But again, slipped right out of our fingers.
And for the last couple of years, people were like wanting there to be like, things to happen out of these court cases against Trump. And it's like, that ship has sailed. And I don't know how to tell you that any clearer. That ship sailed in 2020 when what could have happened didn't happen. And what could have happened was he could have gotten fucking arrested immediately, right? Like any number of things could have happened. He could have gotten impeached and barred from office. Like all of these things could have happened, and they didn't, because at the end of the day, I'd like to say it's just the Democrats are craven, but no, they are an institution that is meant to continue to reify the current system of capital accumulation. That's all they really like function in doing. Like they make money regardless, and as long as they're making money, everything's good. Again, they'll run against Trump a third time if it means they'll make another $1 billion for the party apparatus. God. Okay?
I mean, and that's where like Kamala Harris just taking in all that campaign money and just so she could say, I told you so right now.
Even Tim Walz talking shit about her now. Let's go!
Yeah! Because I mean, that's where it's like, Tim Walz released the emails, okay?
Yeah.
I want to see the emails,
Let me see what
Tim.
they told you, man.
Don't stop saying weird, Tim. It's rude. It's like, yeah. What now? But no, that's like with the Supreme Court decisions. It's just we are there. This is just fascism. Especially as it pertains to what they're doing with some of these students and Mahmoud Khalil and a lot of others is. This is a complete denial of any type of due process, and it's brazen. It's out in the open. There's a story of a U.S. citizen lawyer who's represented some of these like campus protest students in certain cases, and he's getting detained at the border. He's getting his phones. We're there. We're there now. And that's where like the Democrats would actually have to do something, and in some cases illegal, because like they would actually have to like really push back, in order to really start actually galvanizing some type of movement that not just takes power eventually, right, but helps mitigate the problems right now. And that's where they're going to completely miss. And really, it's like any type of, court order that you get to stop and cease and desist, you should just completely disregard these things as well. They're like, who is tracking bird flu?
Yeah.
Right.
What do you mean RFK Jr. is working on?
I mean, there's another kid that died from measles, dog. It's 2025.
And he said, on Fox News or whatever, that the MMR vaccine is still important, And what else do you want from him? God, now the children are dying. He'll finally be like, well, I don't know.
Yeah. But, that's like, there's a lot, I think there's a lot of average Americans, though, that are like, getting on the street. There's like, millions of people like protesting stuff this past weekend and, basically throughout. And that's the thing, is that there just needs to actually be, the beginnings of organizational structures that at the very least mitigate the bad. There's going to be thousands, potentially a million plus elderly folks that aren't going to start, like, sometime soon, right? They're going to start, those Social Security checks are going to start missing or go away altogether. Medicaid and Medicare, and like in the operation, before they even get to the bill, the budget that's going to completely gut them, they're doing it right now. And, the Democrats just going to sit on their hands, but yeah, like, and that's, and with the whole Supreme Court thing is like that, we can just assume every single issue that is being brought up in the courts are going to end up this way. That like acting as if that isn't going to be the regular issue, especially as it pertains to someone sent to a fucking torture prison in El Salvador. As it pertains to like thousands, tens of thousands of federal workers that just got fired off of nonsense. These are layups. These are legal layups. And the fact that the SCOTUS is just, laying down for Trump, it's not surprising, but there's nothing happening to actually like look forward in time and say, how do we make sure the worst doesn't befall the people that your constituents, people that you are supposed to represent, and they're just going to sit back and say, I can't wait to see you at the polls come midterm. Who's going to be alive then?
There's just a lot of hope for the Democratic Party that like, oh, well, I mean, these people are going to show up. Like, this is what they hoped in 2024. I don't understand the playbook here. They're like, enough people are going to be fed up with this nonsense that they're going to just show up regardless because look how bad this guy is, And it's like, what if you had robust like systems in place? What if you could actually do things for people, and then they saw that and they were like, damn, I gotta get out and vote for these people again. Because if you're just the absence of bad, you're not good, you're just the absence of bad. I'm sorry, but that's just not motivating for so many people. And all the fucking, I told you so's and all these fucking people that are rightfully angry, as they should be, but, angry at the wrong people. These liberals that are angry at the wrong fucking people here. They're like, I hope you like what's happening. And it's like, that is the Democratic Party by design that desired this outcome. All right. I don't know what to tell you. No individual person made this happen. They did this because they gambled and they said, well, hey, what other choice do you have? And it turns out some people were just like, fuck it. Actually, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of not having a future.
Yeah.
And so if I'm not going to have a future, well, let's just see what happens.
I mean, that's the thing is, especially like the uncommitted movement, right? There was a whole movement of people during the Democratic primary process that wasn't supposed to happen because Joe Biden wanted to run again. right? There were like thousands of Democratic primary voters saying you need to change course on this one thing. They said they can get fucked. Kamala Harris's campaign of just like neolib nothingness, right? Yeah. Oh, well, we're going to work with the private sector and we're going to build more houses. I'm like, I know you're lying. She never, I mean, she said we need to think about raising the minimum wage. And it's like,
targeted incentives for certain black business owners, Marcus, and that wasn't enough for you?
Oh, well, it wasn't until she said she was going to help black men get crypto, and that's, you know what I'm saying?
You thought about it then. Yeah, you were like, wait a second.
Time to buy the dip.
I could have dog dick coin, you know? Wow.
I love it. It's great. It's backed by real dog dick, so that's how you know it's different.
That's true. Oh, fuck.
But yeah, no, and that's and yeah, so I don't know. There's a whole lot of frustration, and I feel like there's like some type of responsibility as with like a microphone in my mouth to say something intelligent. But when it comes down to this stuff, it's like we're going down a hole that the world has seen before. But I mean, yeah, like what am I supposed to say? You know what I'm saying? Like yeah. This is happening, and the people with any type of semblance of power to even, like not to stop it, just mitigate the harm are completely out to lunch. And because of Red Scare, because of anti-union efforts, because of just economic downturns and all this type of stuff, like Americans, we don't have really like any type of popular understanding of what's happening and what to do about it, and that's where, it's important, like be in community organizations that are interconnected with, other groups, because that's what just needs to be built. But, we're in the time where the fight has started, and we're still trying to even, work out to get in fighting shape. And so, yeah, we're kind of, in a lot of ways, it just seems like we're just sitting by and watching, the world burn. And yeah, it's just very, very frustrating that there are people that, as soon as they start opening them out, there could be multiple cameras and microphones in their face. They could actually be directing people to organizations that are going to do something. They could be leveraging, that donor money into something actually useful.
Marcus, do you mean Kamala Harris? Because she is a private citizen, okay? Like she is... She is spending her private citizen time wisely in Australia, taking $1 million speaking fees to talk to real estate developers. Okay, like
what I found out today? Doug Emhoff, her husband,
yes,
works. He's a partner at one of the law firms that's just capitulating to Trump.
Yeah, man.
And he's still there. Like, there are people who stepped down from that law firm.
Yeah.
Not Doug. Doug is still in.
That's right. In all the way, baby.
Hey, he can change it from the inside.
That's right. Exactly. Listen, I could be the prison guard that doesn't pull the gas. All right.
It's absolutely. Okay. Absolutely.
I could be that one.
You're the hero. You're the hero in this story.
That's right. I just I don't know, man. I think you're right. I think these people absolutely should owe something, I guess public fucking servant's supposed to mean something, right? Like these people should ostensibly owe something, and people like Obama and, Kamala Harris and anyone else that's existed within that side. Fuck Joe Biden, honestly. You know what? I don't care. Roll that old man up on the fucking podium and just have him sit down and talk about how he fought fascism in World War II. I don't care. Fucking any of these folks should be able to come out of their fucking hidey holes and stop writing their fucking book that they're going to sell at Target for $25 and hit the New York Times bestseller. They should like quite literally like do anything to help if this was ever an existential threat. Because again, I'm just made to believe that it's not, man. Not me specifically. Like, obviously, I know better. But the vast American public is made to believe they don't fucking care.
Yeah, no.
Fascism was on the rise and imminent if Trump won. But now that he's won, it's like, well, sorry, I got to fuck off to another country and get some speaking fees if that's okay. I don't really have anything to say about what's going on. Bye.
Yeah, or the idea that doing a 25-hour floor speech.
Yeah.
Not even, you didn't break the record, Corey, for the filibuster. You just did a long speech.
Yeah.
And, there's a lot of libs saying like, well, yeah, now you're fine. Like, it's like you don't know anything.
Yeah. I feel a lot about, again, like, I feel like those things, I've been pretty vocal in the past couple of weeks. Like, those are pressure valve releases, they sense an immediate frustration amongst like their voter base, and out of that they're offering like these valve releases, and I just, you have to hope at the end of the day that it gets enough people curious to get further interested in community building, get further interested in like resistance tactics, like to just try to find ways to actually get involved past just saying I don't like this guy and I can't wait till he's out of office.
Yeah.
Because that's Trump useless. Bad. That's functionally useless. Like getting people to actually like get out and do I feel this like realistically, I feel the same way about the hands off protests and shit. Like most of that is just pressure release, right? Like things like Occupy Wall Street. This is all pressure release shit that doesn't actually like result in anything unless they actually meet up with people and then they start, going to, community events, trying to find out ways to like help each other, like connecting with people. Then this is not going to stop Donald Trump from blackbagging somebody's fucking neighbor next week. This is not going to stop Donald Trump from running roughshod on trade. Like he still has 3 3/4 years left. All right. Like,
is that long?
Right. I just think, and I don't want to be dismissive or defeatist, but I do think about the fucking anti-war protests, the largest of their kind that have ever existed in the modern world. The anti-war protests during Bush's administration, his first administration. And we still devastated Iraq, 100% of their electrical grid, fucking hundreds of thousands of people dead. They still did that. So like you have to think about those things and understand that like, it might feel good at the time, but you need to back that shit up, man. Like, these things have to go further.
Yeah. And that's and it's, I really consider like a single protest is like washing your clothes one time.
Yeah.
You're going to have to wash your clothes. There's going to be some further on things if you want to stay clean. And like, this is where, like you said, it's get out in the streets and then meet people and plan, and like that actually organize to do stuff. Cause like those popular protests is like these grand things that should just draw people together. Right. But if all you're saying is Trump bad, and then you just, okay, bye, like this is where, this is where we're fucking losing, and that's the thing is that every single one of these opportunities need to be used as, a stepping stone to build, and that's where, you look back at the George Floyd protests of 2020. Obviously, the cops stopped killing unarmed black people. No, right? Like, but that's the thing is like they, the number one organization that benefited from those protests was the Democratic Party.
Correct. And
they were just getting people signed up to vote.
Yeah.
And then they didn't do a damn thing. Right? Then you see all, any of that influx of voters that was there in 2020 gone.
Yeah.
And here we are, and so
turns out people will stick around if you don't do anything for them, man.
Stick around for what?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what is there to stick around for?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that's the thing is that all those protesters that might have like, oh, shit, you know, the Democratic Party's out here. Maybe they're going to do something. And they just see Nancy Pelosi taking a knee in kente cloth.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah.
You know, what are we sticking around for? It's going to take her an hour to get up off the knee. I'm going to go home because this shit's worthless. And now Trump's here again because they weren't doing anything then. They're not doing anything now. And that's where the way this is going, like, you talk about midterms, man. Like, I'm worried, like, are we going to make it to mid-month?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like 2026, brother. I'm trying to worry about the summer. Like, I don't. Trump's positioning like fucking bombers outside Iran right now, man. Like, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Yes.
Like, between that and the fucking stock market, it's like, what am I supposed to think?
It's wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, Trump eyeing Iran, and either they have negotiations or it's gonna be real bad. And so threatening Iran is generally good. And I'm sure it's gonna work out fine.
It's gonna be great. I can't wait for it, man. Can't wait to see what happens. Just literal crazy hours. You know, literal Mad King hours.
It's really wild.
Well, what's your silver lining, Marcus? What's your, you know, there's got to be something hopeful. You know, we talked so much about bad things, but surely there's something to look forward to.
My silver lining is we announced that Struggle Force is going to Cuba, and I'm very, very excited to leave this country.
Yeah.
But no, in a few weeks, we'll be going to the trade unionist conference in Cuba.
Nice.
And honestly, just like watching their like kind of deliberations and stuff. Kind of go to the May Day festival.
Hell yeah.
And so that'll be towards the end of this month, and you know, obviously May 1st. So yeah. I'm very, very excited and pumped to go for that. And yeah, I mean that's really, I think, like the big thing that I have to look forward to for, you know, the foreseeable future.
Yeah, fair. I listen. I get it. If I were you, yeah. I already blew my load on Japan, but I feel like Cuba would be sick as hell.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty dope. But what about you? What do you got?
Yep. You know what?
Excited for me to go to Cuba too. Okay,
yeah, I'm excited for. Yeah. My silver lining is at least Canadians also don't get their pre-orders for the Switch 2 tomorrow. You know, feel good about that.
Damn.
Fates intertwined, baby. You thought you could get away by booing in a fucking hockey game? No, sir. You have to fucking wait too. You are America's hat, okay? Sorry. Deal with it.
Damn. Oh, damn.
The politics of spite.
Yes. I love her. Like, yeah, you always talk about bad things. Talk about good things. It's like, you know what I do? I'm looking forward to Canada sucking shit, crying.
You know, I don't know. There's probably some good things.
Your Twitch 2 will get here eventually.
Yeah.
Switch 2, I should
Switch
say.
2, yeah. We're going out for pasta this weekend. That's probably going to be exciting. It's Evie's birthday on Friday, so that's my silver lining. Is just celebrating a wealth of birthdays this month.
Oh, good. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. So I got that going for me.
You're already getting into the depression thing where you're just like, oh, I get to eat a meal later.
Yeah, exactly. That's so true.
Pretty nice.
I watched a video yesterday of these people that absolutely survived through the depression that are just like, this is what we used to eat back then and how much it would cost now. Like, incredible.
Oh, God. Skyline Chili, here I come.
Hell, I mean, maybe inside of Ohio, outside, man, it's like $6 a can now. It's crazy.
Oh, well, they're trying to stock up. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to pad the stats to, get through it. But
I might just have to get Castleberry,
Oh, well, it's not the same.
It's an inferior chili, but tough times.
You drool over noodles with a pound of cheese. I mean, come on.
It's so good. God damn.
It's all the nutrients you could need.
I made a
to
chili
work
dog.
10-hour days in the mines.
Yeah, I made a chili dog the other day with Skyline chili. It was great.
Oh, and that's really like the only way anyone should ever have it. Okay, the whole like noodle thing is just like insane. It's ridiculous, really. But no, on a hot dog, great, fantastic.
It was incredible.
Not bad.
Yeah. All right.
Well,
next week we'll return. That will be the last episode before you go to Cuba, right?
I believe so. Yes. Yeah. Maybe we could get 2 in there. I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I think so. I think we'll try to record 2 at the same time next week. Yeah.
Squeeze it in. We'll squeeze it in.
Part 1, part 2. Exciting.
Yeah. Cool. It's going to be exciting. I'm so excited for whatever these fascists are going to do. It's very exciting.
Fucking Christ.
So excited.
Who knows, man? We're what, 37 right now with the stock market? It's going to be exciting to get to next week and figure out where we've gotten to. Yeah, 37.6. Hold that thought. Fuck.
Can't we wait to like just be stranded on the tarmac like for the flight because they can't afford fucking fuel for the planes anymore?
Yes.
It's gonna be cool.
Yes.
It's gonna be dope. But yeah, either way, like, subscribe, ring the bell, do all the things.
Yep. We'll see y'all next week. Take care.
Sell.
Bye.